Throughout the history of modern warfare, few weapons are as physically destructive and psychologically impairing as landmines. Whether they are anti-personnel or anti-tank mines, they are insidious weapons that, unlike most other weapons, still maim and kill decades after hostilities are over. Mines continue to cause many casualties, often civilians. They restrict the movement of people and humanitarian aid, make land unsuitable for cultivation, agriculture, and construction, and reduce access to potable water, food, care, and trade. As an aside, my own grandfather was killed by a German teller mine during World War II. When were mines first used? Why were they banned and when? And how are they being dealt with? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, military veteran, historian, and author, and in today's episode of Forgotten History, we will cover one of the most feared weapons of warfare, landmines. Landmines as we know them became possible long after the invention of black powder. The first landmine was used during the American Civil War. The inventor of mines, Gabriel Rains, manufactured them for the Confederacy. These crude devices were simple and made from a thin iron plate connected to brass-covered fuses connected to a black powder charge once pressure was applied. Confederate General James Longstreet was appalled by their implementation and wanted to ban their use. His concern was the fact that anyone, friend or enemy, as well as civilians, could be injured. However, despite his vocal opposition, thousands were built and used. Likewise, Union General George McClellan described mines as murderous and barbarous. Rains himself defended his invention, saying that each new invention of war has been assailed and denounced as barbarous, yet each, in its own turn notwithstanding, has taken its position by the universal consent of nations according to its efficiency in human slaughter. The old method for mine detection was for a soldier to probe the ground and feel a mine, and then carefully remove it without setting it off. The specialty of combat engineers and sappers were specifically organized to deal with this menace. As technology improved, so did mines, and it only followed that mine detectors were invented. Using electrical impulses to detect the iron or steel composition of the mine casings that could be detected, marked, and then detonated in place or removed. Then, as time elapsed, mines were manufactured out of plastic in order to defeat mine detectors. In some cases, homemade mines were constructed of wood and other non-ferrous materials to avoid electronic detection. Anti-personnel mines come in various forms, from the M16 Bouncing Betty fragmentation and claymore mines to toe poppers, small mines scattered along the ground that detonate when pressure is applied. Anti-vehicle mines, especially those designed to destroy armored vehicles and heavy tanks, are the most destructive, but fortunately they were the least used and do not pose as great a collective threat as anti-personnel mines. The greatest proponent of mines in history was the Soviet Union during World War II, followed by the Germans. Both nations buried millions of mines of all types on the Eastern Front, and long after World War II, Russian and Ukrainian civilians often found one with terrible effects. For example, the minefields of Kursk in 1943 were 1,700 anti-personnel and 1,500 anti-tank mines per square kilometer, and 4 times as many were used in the defense of Moscow in 1941 to 42. Most of those not detonated remain buried. After the Korean War, tens of thousands of mines were unaccounted for, and they wreaked havoc upon the population, and the same was true after the Vietnam War. However, the United States and their allies in both conflicts recovered most of the mines that were buried in South Vietnam, and they were not used that extensively. Today, the most heavily intentionally mined area on Earth is the DMZ between North and South Korea. Places that saw long-term conflict, such as Angola, Mozambique, Congo, and other locations in Africa still have those problems, as well as Burma, now called Myanmar, with many mines left over from World War II. Following the 10-year Soviet occupation from 1979 to 1989, it was reported that, as of 2004, over 200,000 Soviet mines were cleared, but another 240,000 are believed to be still buried, as both Soviets and Mujahideen forces used them. In Iraq and Afghanistan during the War on Terror, traditional mines were replaced with improvised explosive devices, usually unexploded ordnance triggered by a tripwire, motion, or remote radio signal detonation by cell phones. The United Nations Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons was agreed to in Geneva, Switzerland on October 10, 1980, and entered into force in December 1983. The aim is to prohibit or restrict the use of certain conventional weapons which are considered excessively injurious or whose effects are indiscriminate. Today, anti-personnel mines are prohibited under the Convention on the Prohibition of the Use, Stockpiling, Production, and Transfer of Anti-Personnel Mines and on their destruction, also called the Mine Ban Convention, adopted in 1997. Due to these international agreements, over 40 million mines and stockpiles have been destroyed, with an estimate of 10 millions. Due to these international agreements, over 40 million mines and stockpiles have been destroyed, with an estimate of 10 million more awaiting destruction. Many countries, especially those who used mines in previous conflicts, have specialized teams that go to afflicted regions and detect and remove those mines that still pose a threat. To this day, no one knows how many mines are yet to be discovered, but over time, there will still be casualties. Thanks for watching today's episode of Forgotten History. If you like this episode, please consider becoming a channel member or joining our Patreon page. This would help us offset the ever-increasing cost of production. As always, please like, share, and comment. And if you have any show ideas, please contact us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Until next time.